you are tuned to KGVM Bozeman. We are Gallatin Valley Community Radio. We're at 95.9 on your FM dial, kgvm.org online. It's time now for the local musician spotlight. We're doing something obviously a little bit different. We're not at the Tune Factory today. We're in the KGVM offices, and we're pre-recording this on the 14th of September, or of January. We made it through Friday the 13th. I think everybody's intact. I don't see any missing digits or anything. So, and we're interviewing a band from Billings, Salt and Shadow. And you guys were here back in September, and you were with Thrown Out Bones. And we had everything set up at the filling station to video that, and we did an interview with them, built a local musician spotlight out of it. So we got video of your performance. So we're doing it again. And I think it worked pretty well that time. So we'll chat a little bit, and we'll kind of watch some video from the performance in September. And just so people know, the reason Salt and Shadow's here is not because they drove over just to talk to us, but you had a show at the filling station again last night. So a fun show. So I wonder if you guys just want to introduce yourselves, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm Lindsay Jacobson. I'm a singer and play ukulele and guitar.
I'm Chris Reeves, and I play guitar.
I'm Bryce Clifton, and I play bass.
I'm Sophia Reitzel. I play cello and vocals.
Nice.
Our drummer isn't here, but he exists also. His name is Clint.
Yeah.
I saw him in 3D last night, so yeah. Yeah, so I guess you're, I think you guys kind of tagged your music as folk rock, I guess. It's,
we, I remember one practice, Lindsay said, "Oh, this sounds like dystopian folk." And I was like,
there you go.
that's where we're going with this.
That works pretty well. Yeah, it's definitely with the ukulele, and especially with the cello, that I think that gives you a sonic palette that's quite a bit different from most everybody else. And I was thinking, just don't see cello very often. But last year, one of the other shows we did with a touring band that we did a spotlight with was with Lung.
Oh yeah.
And
Lung.
that was pretty intense. It's like, wow, I didn't know you could do that with a cello.
Yeah, she does some interesting things. It's really cool.
Yeah. So you guys how long have you been around as a band?
About a year.
I think it was a year in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right about the time you played at the filling station, it had been kind of around a year.
Yeah, I think so.
And our first show was, was that April of last year?
Yeah.
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 As things started to reemerge from
Right.
everything.
Right.
Yep.
Have you been pretty busy playing out?
Yeah. Yeah, we play in Billings quite a bit. In Bozeman a couple times, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just been,
Yeah. Anywhere else? Are you kind of getting poised to make some bigger excursions, or?
Yeah.
We're going to play in Missoula March 3rd
Yeah.
at Zach.
Oh, cool.
And her sister is playing in Transcendental Express, so she's going to be on the bill. And then I put the show together because it's my sister's birthday. So
Oh, cool.
then it's going to be a sister show.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think Transcendental Express played at Cactus here
Oh yeah, they did.
in the summer, and I went down and I didn't know anything about them. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like, I don't know how painful it is to get things lined up in, probably not too bad in Missoula. And it seems like maybe I see bands that are kind of, making the loop, Billings, Bozeman, Missoula, and maybe up to Helena and Butte. And so that's a pretty good deal if you're hitting the road, to be able to line up a few shows and even before you get out of the state. So,
Right.
so yeah, I think you said you've been pretty busy in Billings. How's the scene in Billings?
Right now it's awesome.
Yeah.
Pick a genre of music and you could find a band that does it well.
Yeah.
In Billings. Yeah, we have some really good venues there. It's just.
So what are some of your favorite places to play in Billings?
Pop Station's awesome. That's the place I really like to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craft Local's been having some really good shows lately.
Yeah.
That's right next to the pub station, and they're seeming to tend more to having local acts, whereas the pub station sort of going more touring.
More
acts.
touring.
That one other the garage,
Oh, Thirsty Street. Yeah.
Thirsty Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was fun.
pretty good too.
Mhm.
They got a new sound system that's
Mhm.
pretty rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, we do have a gig booked in Red Lodge. They just got a sound system at One Legged Magpie, so we're excited
Oh.
for that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a little closer to home for
Yeah.
getting there and back.
Yeah, I love coming to Bozeman, and the filling station is like legendary.
Mhm.
You walk in there and see like decades worth of band stickers
Yeah.
everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's just like
It's fun.
It's
history there.
It's yeah, it's pretty interesting walking it. It's like, it really hasn't changed for. I remember
Ever.
the first time I went there was probably in, I don't know, the mid '80s.
Wow.
It's
I was gonna
really
say,
not
like-
very much different from that. The stage is a little bigger than it was back then, but it's everything else is pretty much the same except for more stickers.
The
Yeah.
first time I played there was like early 2000s, and it's exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
So, yeah, it's a great spot for music, and I think venues are picking up here too, and kind of a few more coming online, and so which is great because there's definitely in Billings, Bozeman, and Missoula, it seems like the number of bands is, or maybe I don't know if maybe they're exploding the number, but awareness of them, at least my awareness of them, being able to go out on Bandcamp or something and find all of these bands is it's like, holy cow, there's just a huge number of bands. So, there's plenty of people to go out and populate music venues. So it's great to see more of them coming around. So yeah, maybe we'll kind of take a look at about the first half of your set that you did back in September at the filling station. This was opening up for Thrown Out Bones.
What's up, everybody? We're Salt and Shadow. We're from Billings, Montana. And we drove up tonight just to be with you guys. Thanks for being here. One flush of anger buzzing in the ears, Russian blood, shallow breathing, broken heart, rolled back tears, flash of red, deep Thank you.
Love me in dress of light. Love me in the sacred night. Love me wild. Love me wild. Love me for my inner child. Love me like we never died. Love me wild. Love me wild. Love me in exile. Love me as we
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Gonna do a little song called Take It Slow. So grab a person and be slow with them. Don't be afraid, just take my hand. Don't be afraid, just be my man for tonight. Take my hand and lead me where you wanna go. You got me where you want me, but we can take it slow. We can take it slow, slow. Slow motion, baby, yeah, we can take it slow, slow, slow motion, baby, yeah. time to get to know me like you do. Now it's time for you to show me more of you, baby. Take it off real slow. Take it off real slow. We can take it slow, slow motion, baby. Yeah, we can take it slow motion, baby.
Thank you.
Weathered, battered, tattered and torn. This is not the place where love once was shown. Weathered, battered, tattered and torn. This is not the place where love once was shown. Birds come down from the sky, your father has cried. Flood of waters come down from the sky, your children are hiding. Flood of waters come down from the sky. Oh, Father, your children will cry. Oh, Father, your children will die before your eyes. Too bad, too seven kind was all they could find. Too bad, too seven kind. He's made up his mind. Too bad, too seven kind. Oh, Father, change your mind. Oh, Father, we can hide from rising tide. Prism colors wash the blue from the sky. Is this how you want to apologize? When darkness came to say, baby, baby, you were never meant to stay.
So I think that last song was Never Broken. That's the first song on your EP, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So I didn't do my homework very well. You released your EP middle of last year?
It was it before we played our first show or was it after?
I wanna
That
say
I
it was
don't
like
remember.
I think it was
February-ish.
before because we were.
Oh, because Bryce wasn't in the band yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had recorded the music and we had thought that Sophia was could also be like the bass player. You know, like kind of fill that spot. And then the really cool part about recording, I think that's been for us is like just like tightening our sound and like actually hearing it back and being like, wait, we need bass because we listened back to it and we're like, yeah. And then so you threw down some bass and
So bass with air quotes.
It's bass. There was notes.
yeah. And yep, and we're like, yep, okay, now we need a bass player. And,
Yeah.
and then Bryce came. Yeah, it's just wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like this magical moment. Like, I don't know if another bass player could have done it because Bryce is amazing. But like, just picks up on these things that I don't think a normal bass player would even hear, and like fills it in there. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know how much different it would be, but it seems like maybe like playing the bass along with the cellos may be a little bit different than playing the bass along with it, like a couple of guitars or a guitar and a keyboard or something. Just making sure that you're not kind of stomping on each other. Is that?
Yeah. We definitely need to all find our own like octaves and space in the music and have it weave in instead of like stacking kind of thing.
Right.
Just because the timbres are a lot similar between the bass and the cello. But then I can also have a similar timbre on the cello to like Lindsay's vocal lines too.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's,
guitar.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that like last night a little bit. Sometimes it's like, you know, just maybe not paying super close attention, and all of a sudden like, is that the cello or the guitar?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kind of weaves in and out of spaces.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Sometimes it was like purposely stacked to like get some emphasis, and then sometimes it's we just play totally different things on totally different octaves or whatever. And
Yeah, spread it out a little further.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the option. And
Yeah.
I like the. I mean, obviously the cello adds a lot of texture that, you know, like I said, you just don't hear very often, which is really nice. And I think the ukulele does that too. It's nice to have that mix and just shakes things up a little bit. Something that you don't hear all the time is great. So, so yeah, you guys, you had the 3-song EP, and are you kind of thinking about more working on any new recordings or?
Yeah, we had this idea we were throwing around that we wanted to have like a salt EP and then a shadow EP. And so we
nice.
have like, you know, some songs that are maybe more upbeat and rocky and stuff that people were dancing to last night.
Yeah.
And then we have the shadowy songs that are more contemplative and just pretty.
Yeah.
Which plays a lot into the yin and yang symbol of our
Yeah.
logo. Is the yin is very like dense and kind of shadowy, and then yang is very bright and like warming, and so to kind of play off of that would be kind of neat.
That might work really well. Yeah, it's interesting now in the age of digital music distribution how well, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm not quite old enough, I'm plenty old enough, but my experiences with music initially were all out, you bought albums. There were still singles, but they were not nearly the thing that they were like in the 50s and the early 60s. And so, it was kind of all albums. And now it seems like things are shifting a lot more to EPs. And I guess
and singles.
and singles. And the conventional wisdom, I guess, is just release more frequently. Don't save it all up for an album, because I suppose it's, an artifact of our collective diminishing attention spans, right? You don't want to, you want to keep on the radar of people. And so I assume that's kind of the push for releasing EPs more often.
I was talking to a buddy about this yesterday, actually, and he has a daughter who's like totally into music. She's a teenager right now and everything, and she loves this one song, but it's literally the only song. He's like a megastar now, and I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's released one song. Not like he has one song on Spotify. That's it.
Everybody listens to it over and over.
That's the thing, and he was talking to his daughter. He's like, that just never happened before. Like you could. There's one hit wonders, sure, but like it's one hit on an album,
right?
That you had.
Yeah.
It's not like you just released a song.
Yeah.
Good to go. So yeah, it's a totally different world, and it's sort of like a double-edged sword because I miss albums.
Yeah.
I miss listening to that entire experience. Like what concept did this album have? What art? What journey do they want to take?
What story are they trying to convey?
And I miss like listening to the last song and getting to 20 minutes of dead air and then having the hidden track at the end.
I was just I was just thinking about that yesterday. I don't know, I dug up some old CD and I'm like, man, that was the thing for a while. Everybody did that.
Yeah.
And it was so annoying to me. I didn't like that part, especially like then you're ripping them and you get all these 5-minute chunks of silence. Like, but
I think the initial discovery of the hidden song is cool. And then, like you want to hear it again, you're like, oh,
I want to skip through.
Fast forward on the CD player, and then I'm gonna miss it.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't remember one of them. It was probably NoFX or somebody. They put 99 tracks.
Right.
And 70 of them were 5-second skips. So, yeah. So, but yeah, it's just interesting how things evolve. And I definitely miss the album experience. And it's just, I don't know, still have a little bit of a mental block about just buying it like a 3-song EP. I don't know why. Yeah. But it's just the same. It's like when you had an LP. It's like, man, do I want to go through, when you had it on a turntable, do I want to go through all of the work of, putting that thing on, then turning it over and maybe getting it one song on one side and two on the other.
Right.
With digital, obviously, it doesn't matter, but I still just have this kind of glitch. But I'm pretty sure I'm an anomaly there because it seems like, that's the thing. Or singles. A lot of people are just releasing singles again. And
yeah, we've been told, like, don't even do an EP. Just release singles.
So
or even like record like 10 songs, but don't release them all at the same time. Release them like over the course of a year. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where, as things evolve and if things will change. And I kind of wonder if, I don't quite understand yet how the resurgence of vinyl dovetails with the digital stuff. It's like there will be this push from the vinyl side of things to go back to doing albums, and will that influence people to kind of produce albums that they release digitally, or will there be kind of this split permanently or something? It's kind of interesting to think about.
vinyl, yeah.
Yeah, it's some people that I've talked to about.
We would put the Salt and the Shadow EP on the vinyl.
Flip it.
Yeah.
And then, because also conceptually, the Salt, I feel like our songs have a lot to do with like empowerment in the face of tyranny. And so I feel like when I wrote those songs, like the salty songs, it's like I felt like there's a man and we're against the man and we can rise above and stuff. And then as I have grown in my understanding and that the shadow part is more like the all of that stuff is really in your head. Like you're really against yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that you need to get over is kind of let go of that ego and
learn how to move through things instead of push against them.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Just get out your own way.
I mean that would be pretty interesting to have a vinyl with like one EP on one side and one on the other. And I haven't heard. I know for a while that like the lead times on vinyl were heinous.
Yeah.
I
no, I've
think
heard
I think
that.
maybe they're a little bit better, but still
Yeah.
probably not great, which is unfortunate.
Death Cab for Cutie did a really funny music video about that.
Did they?
Yeah. He's like, we're just trying to get our vinyl, and there's like 2 people working in the vinyl factory, and they're just goofing around the whole time. So he has to go in there and like make the record himself.
That's good. They'll have backyard vinyl pressing
Right.
stations you can set up.
Can't be that hard. Just like melt some candles and put some grooves in it. Right?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's just they don't call it wax for nothing.
Right. Anyway.
Well, maybe we'll kind of watch the second half of the show from the filler.
Thank you. Very much. You guys want to do Ishmael, or should we just go to This Is Our Time? You want to do Ishmael? Okay. Has anybody read the book Ishmael? No? You guys gotta read books. Books are good. This song was written after I read that book. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is really awesome. I've come to a couple shows here, but this is our first time playing at the filling station, so hell yeah. It's like awesome. All right, cool. Here goes.
This will bring us better, faster.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We're only gonna do a couple more songs. I know that Throwing Out Bones, they're in the middle of a tour. They need to get going and do their thing. You guys cool with us playing a couple more songs? Okay. Okay, well, we have been and continue to be Salt and Shadow that you've experienced tonight. Yay! Thank you so much. We're gonna do one more song, and then you get to hear Thrown Out Bones. Really great. Let's give it up for them. You haven't even heard them yet, but you know you want to. Okay. This song is called I Will Always Be. These have been all original songs. We played a show in Billings last night at Kirk's, and that's kind of how we met Thrown Out Bones there. We played a show with them, and we were like, so can we come play with you in Bozeman? And they're like, yeah, dude. So that's why we're here. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. All right.
Within this rage, I am the river. Within this pain, I am
All right, so a great set, and it was fun. That night was a blast with you guys playing and with Throwing Out Bones. I think you said you'd opened for them in Billings. Was it at Kirk's or something the night before? And
Yeah.
and you got to
Oh,
come
another
along
great
with them.
venue in Billings. It's
Yeah.
Kirk's Grocery.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
So, and that song that you ended with is a single that you just released yesterday, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's you can find it even if you don't track down the YouTube video. It's out in the world now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I was trying to think. I guess is that a Salt song or a Shadow song?
I'd say that's more of a shadow song.
Shadow song, yeah.
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 It's very reflective.
Yeah. So yeah, you said maybe you're kind of thinking about maybe the next couple of EPs and doing some playing out quite a bit in Billings, doing a little touring around a little bit, and will that pick up? Do you think in this as it warms up and it's not such a pain to drive around?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're doing it all on our own, so we're kind of just learning as we go and sending emails. But I have found that a lot of
Oh, that's just the heat.
I mean, it's just building relationships, and so like we got to play we played the filling station twice because I made friends with the Thrown Out Bones, and then I made friends with Jacob and Cole, and so when I see it like that, and I see it as just like finding all my people and I meet all my new favorite people all the time when I'm playing music. So
Yeah.
just kind of being guided by that, and not necessarily being like, oh, we have to like do this, and then we have to play here, and then we have to,
Right.
just kind of flow with
Let it be a little more organic.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would guess that like in the long run that's probably a little bit more sustainable for the band and really for everything. If you kind of set up connections instead of trying to approach it as just like a pretty business thing. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I got I'll cold call a bunch of venues and try to line up some shows.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worked for a long time, I guess, for people, but trying to like establish those connections, especially like where you're kind of getting connected to musicians that can help you like connect to people in the different venues, then there's this exchange that can go back and forth, right? When people are looking to book a show, people from Bozeman or Missoula are looking to book a show in Billings, maybe they'll reach out to you and you can help them connect to stuff. It seems like that personal networking effect always works better, I think,
Yeah.
for everything. So
Agreed, yeah.
so so if people are looking to find your music, I know for a fact that they can find it on Bandcamp.
Yep.
And we got Facebook and Instagram, I think, up there on the board.
Yeah, we're on everything. Bandcamp, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube.
You just made a lyric video.
Yeah, I mean,
Apparently it only
lyric
takes 15
videos.
minutes, so we'll make some more. Because there is a lot to be said in the lyrics. I think a lot about what I put into that. And it does have a message, and so I'd love for people to hear that,
Yeah.
Yeah, lyric videos are fun.
Yeah, it seems like maybe that might be a thing that's maybe kind of becoming more popular too. Or maybe I'm just like taking notice of it, but I see it more now.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. Gone are the days when you got the LP and you pulled it out and the liner had all the lyrics on it. And
Right.
young me used to pour through all of that stuff meticulously.
Yeah.
And now I put the album on and I do something else and don't pay enough attention. So I think that is a nice thing to kind of, especially if your songs are, not the same line repeated 15 times, and
Yeah.
Right.
if you're trying to if you've got a lot of story or message that you're trying to deliver.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I Will Always Be is pretty drony, like it says I will always be, I don't even know how many times, but also, that's kind of a song about just that, gosh, I mean, it's it's something that I was inspired by learning about non-duality, and just that all the things that you see that are beautiful in the world, that's also that's you.
Yeah.
So it's just like this. I don't know.
I'm beautiful.
Yeah, we're beautiful.
Yeah, it's people. Yeah. I don't think people. Maybe we're way too willing to accept other people's definitions like that. When you were saying that, it just made me think. Yeah. What's beautiful is, like, part of it is. I mean, it comes from me, right?
Right.
It's my perception. And I have this problem sometimes of just thinking that, and I think this is pretty natural to just assume that everybody else experiences things the same way you do.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the basics. Like if I look at a color, do other people, I mean, do they see the same thing? We've kind of agreed that we're going to call it blue, right?
Yeah.
But do they see, is it the same thing? And like sounds and all of these things. So, if you start thinking that maybe it's not universal, then if you start thinking about like what beauty is, it's like, yeah, you really something that's a kind of a complicated amalgam of all these different things.
It's a co-creation, right?
Yeah.
'Cause you see it, but you are also feeling it, considering it beautiful.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting to kind of. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind once in a while.
Yeah.
That it's partly you, and so you have potentially some agency to decide and to influence what is good, what's bad, what's beautiful, what's not. So. All right. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming in and for the great performances. It was a blast to get to see you guys again and kind of go back through the performance from last September. So I look forward to catching you again somewhere here, Billings, or on the road somewhere, and maybe checking out the new tunes. So yeah, if people can go check out As I See It. It's out on all the streaming places on Bandcamp. I'm a lesbian. There I did it again. I don't know.
But
I don't know how to.
As I see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe that conversation stuck in my head a little too much. Yeah, I'm a big Bandcamp fan. I like to try to convince people, which I'm sure it's a losing battle, but buy your music, don't rent it.
Yes.
I mean,
one Bandcamp purchase is worth like 10,000 streams.
So many. It's crazy. I mean, if people could rent their music and the artists actually, got the money from it, it would be fine. But unfortunately, that's not the reality of our situation. So I like to encourage people to go out there and pick it up on Bandcamp, and you can stream it from
We
there.
have awesome merch too. We actually sold a lot of merch last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
We made some T-shirts that have glow in the dark on the moon, and so people are pretty stoked about that. After I said, well, it glows in the dark. And they're like, what?
Turns out
Yeah.
we're all still a little bit of children at heart.
Yes.
That's a big
Yeah.
attention catcher.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.